Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus pilot, and great news for all the Norton A321neo flyers today. FSLabs have finally released their long-awaited Pratt & Whitney update, which was originally promised for release a couple weeks after the release of the original aircraft, but here it is, and it does come with a great update for all the systems and the graphics as well. Together with the new Pratt & Whitney engine, they've also added a brand new visual model to the cabin, and I feel like they've also done some updates to the cockpit itself there, and also a huge chunk of system updates. At the moment, the update is available through the experimental channel that anyone can opt into in the FSLabs control center, but it should be available for a general release in a couple days as well. Now, I've already done my first flight with the aircraft and I really liked what I've seen, so let's go ahead and go over a couple of the details of the update over here, have a look at the new cabin and some of the systems. But we're going to start with the obvious things from the outside, and that is the Pratt & Whitney engine. Now, as you guys know, for the A321neo there are two types of engines available, the CFM LEAP 1A and the Pratt & Whitney engine. Now this is the Pratt & Whitney engine that we see right over here, and FSLabs have done an awesome job on the visual modeling of the fan and everything in the front of the engine over here. It also just looks fantastic to see this huge piece of an engine underneath the A321, where we are normally used to, you know, CFMs and IAE engines. So very nice to have this update as well. Now, only one strange thing here: when I'm moving to the back of the plane, I'm not 100% sure if this black texture is supposed to be, you know, black like it is over here. I would expect to see a little bit more metal like in the remainder of the parts of the engines. And, well, maybe that is something where a texture is missing also, I'm not 100% sure. But in any case, I do hope that that is going to get an update to look a little bit more authentic, because the rest of the engine, including the reflections and everything that you see on the textures over here, is just fantastic. Also, when having a look at things like the decals on the engine over here, beautiful texturing everywhere around. The same goes for the rest of the fuselage, by the way, which is just looking fantastic. I mean, have a look at this. Overall, nicely done job by FSLabs over here, especially if you look at the reflections on the tires and everything. It's a beautiful cabin. I think we can most definitely, well, a beautiful exterior. I think we can most definitely say that. Now, you guys see that I'm already in my next step mentally over here, and that is the cabin. So how about we have a look at that? I'm sure many of you recall that the cabin was one of the big weaknesses of this product, and I'm really happy to say that that has completely changed. The cockpit seems like it's also gotten an update. I can't really put it in words and can't really gather it from the changelog, but in my opinion it just looks better, especially the overhead panel here. If you have a look at this in full resolution 4K zooming in like this, it is looking better, isn't it? I think it most definitely is. Everything's a little bit crisper, details on the switches. I don't know, I don't remember it looking that good from the earlier update, so definitely very nice to see that there have been so many changes on the cockpit of the A321 as well. Performance has also gotten better, so I can really, you know, look around everywhere without many stutters. It's only the typical MSFS stutter, like when you're looking inside for a long time, then you press the key to reset the view, then sometimes stutters. That's nothing for FSLabs though, that's default flights in box, so if you do see that happen, don't worry about it. Now, we'll get back to the flight deck in a few moments, but first of all, let's move back into the cabin. So let's open that door and have a look, and you can immediately see it has changed completely. We're going to start on the galley though, in the entrance area over here. No, we cannot actually operate the doors over here. Would be nice to see that with a future update. But look at the detailing on the jump seats that we see over here. Look at the textures on the floor, even though I got no idea who would put a wooden panel in the galley floors. Like, that would seem to scratch pretty quickly with all the trolleys being moved around. But nonetheless, looks fantastic. Really nice update. Really happy with this. Now, what's also really nice is the lighting you can find on the ceiling of the aircraft. Now, this is optional, not every aircraft has it. Like, if you open other of the default liveries, you may not find it. If you do open airline-specific liveries, you may or may not find it. But it just looks superb, especially at night. And when we are moving back into the cabin, we can see this all over the place now. So let's go ahead and start right on the overhead lockers over here, which have gotten a nice level of detail. You can't operate them, but again, looking good. Then the passenger service units up here also looking quite good. One small problem though, there are a lot of invisible walls. Like if I just want to move somewhere here, I'm still pushing the buttons. It just doesn't move, you see? So there's quite a couple of invisible walls here, making it occasionally difficult to actually take a seat. But if you do walk through the ceiling, then it works just fine. Alright, now that we've gotten in position, the windows also have the little hole over here to help equalize the pressure between the outer and the inner pane of the window. And, well, the seats are looking pretty good. To be completely fair, not as excellent as they do in the Phoenix cabin, but I still like it very much. And, well, the only one thing that I need to complain about, I'm German, so if I don't complain, it's not honest, is those strange black textures over here that are kind of baked in. Like, not 100% sure where those come from, but hey, just look at the texturing on the walls over here. It does look pretty good. Maybe one or two further updates, and then I'm sure it's going to be really, really good. Alright then. This is what the cabin looks like. Here is another invisible wall. Hello, I want to move. Thank you. Alright, there's also a business class cabin available that you can use, so that you've got both options in this aircraft. Also, beautiful lighting options on the top of the plane over here. If we just switch over to night lighting, that just looks really neat as well. If you give that a moment for everything to pop up, just look at this. Ignore the light that bleeds through from the ground staff there, but look at that cabin. Quite fantastic, isn't it? Alrighty, so with that taken into account, let's move back into the flight deck over here and just have a quick look at some of the changes that we're seeing in the flight deck. The lighting has of course seen some work in here as well, and I just can't overemphasize how much I do like those floodlights. See, FSLabs is modeling both floodlight options. You got the conventional one, and then you got the LED one, which actually shines a white light onto the main panel, contrary to the more yellow-orange-ish light that you are used to from your conventional Airbuses. Likewise, you got the floodlight for the pedestal, and then we've got the dome light, which, I don't know, I think is a little bit too weak there. Like, this is maximum. Nah. Granted, I haven't flown an A320neo in the real world, but I do think this is not bright enough. Like, if you've got such a bright light up here, that surely would reflect onto the overhead panel and stuff. So, that is a little weak here, but nonetheless, looks like a very promising basis. Now, let's just go back to a daylight option over here, because I don't think it looks a bit better during daylight than it does at night. Systems. So, very basic, the Pratt & Whitney engine has been added with many of its special features, like the cooling indication. Let's see if we can quickly bring that one up. Powering the FADEC. Here we go. Like, you see how much of a cooling cycle it needs before the actual engine start would commence. So, that's something particular to the Pratt & Whitney engines. And of course, many of the particular engine features have also been modeled in detail, as you would expect from an FSLabs Airbus. Something I also see for the first time here, not sure if that might have been an option before, but I've definitely seen it for the first time, is the traffic selector. And I will go over a little bit more details of that system when we do our first full flight with the aircraft. Apart from that, they've also done a huge chunk of updates, which are actually far too many to just list all over here. So I'm just going to show you on screen from their blog post that I'm also going to link in the video description below. So as you can see, a huge chunk of stuff that has been done on the well, pretty much entire airplane. Like, I can't even cut this down to a single system. After all, a lot of time has elapsed as well, so it's kind of unsurprising to see the list is that large, but it is very, very nice to see that such a large list actually does exist. And yes, it's still going on. I'm not repeating or cutting anything here. So, well, that is the brand new FSLabs A321neo update, bringing the Pratt & Whitney engine to this beautiful aircraft. I do hope that you guys are liking it as well. If you've already flown it, leave your feedback in the comments underneath the video. If you haven't flown it yet and you're interested, then do let me know that in the comments as well. And finally, do share your feelings here. I'm going to show you my first flight in a couple of days, probably. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're up for more, if you don't want to miss that first flight, be sure to hit that little bell next to the subscribe button so that you actually get notified when the video is uploaded. For now, thank you very much for watching, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.